Hiya, loves! Welcome back to the Gaily Digest, the second episode in LGBTQ plus History Month. I am Nigel.
And I am Joshua.
Welcome back, Joshua. How's your LGBTQ plus History Month been going? Has it been all right?
Well, as I'm the resident moaner, I've got a headache.
Here was me expecting you just to go, well, it's been gay. I've had a gay old
No,
time.
I've got a gay headache.
Oh, bless you, bless you. Well, we'll try and make this as easy as possible for you today, like usual.
Yeah, try
Anyway,
not to
so
waffle on too much. It gives me a
I'll
headache.
tr I'll try not. Hey, oi, that's not very nice. Anyway, so in this episode, we are back within conversation where we are still going to be talking more about LGBTQ plus History Month and about various issues and things that we have faced and things that progress that we have made across time and throughout history. We are back with Guess the Phobias, where this week we are doing O and P. For a change, it's me that's doing the P rather than Josh needing it every 5 minutes. And we are back with our usual dose of the complaints closet, and that is it. So, without further ado, let's crack on with the show. Let's have a chat. It's in conversation. So, Josh, it is still LGBTQ plus History Month. We are still working our way through, about halfway through now, aren't we? The month. And in our last episode, we discussed, we highlighted a couple of heroes from the LGBT community, people that have or are making progress or making change to better our lives as a community going forward. And throughout the month, we are posting shorts as well on our socials and on YouTube of LGBTQ plus heroes. But we still have a lot to talk about in relation to LGBTQ plus History Month. And what we're going to talk about is a number of little different things as part of that history. Now, would it be fair to say, Josh, that part of LGBTQ plus History Month is focusing on issues we've faced within the community or from outside of the community with discrimination? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it is definitely about. What are you smirking for? Did you forget
It's
your
all
question?
right. No, I didn't forget my question. You were you were looking at me a bit blankly there, like, oh
It's
shit, he's put me on
because
the spot.
no, it's because you asked me a question, but then you carried on talking. So then I was like, okay, when do I speak? Don't ask me a question with more than two different parts of it because I won't. I'll crash.
All right.
Anyway, I think looking back at the past allows us to not only see how far we've come, but it's to see how difficult times were
Hmm.
back in the day because some of the things that we've discussed about how people were treated, like Alan Turing and stuff, like even though these people were incredible figures that literally changed the world, they were still seen as deviants and nothing more than gay people
Yeah.
or LGBT plus people in general. They was that's their label. That's all they were ever seen as, and they were
Hmm.
treated terribly, even after literally shaping the world, due just down because of that. And I think looking back on it, it allows us to try and not make the same mistakes, even though as humans we seem to repeatedly keep making the same mistakes. Um, But this is why it's always a constant, endless battle because even though you make change, a lot of things we've changed from 50, 60 plus years ago, we're starting to see a little resurgence of these things again. So this is why you can't ever really let your guard down. You always have to keep fighting against the discrimination because it's like a wave that goes out and then comes back in and goes back out and
Yeah.
comes back in again.
I mean, I think it's fair to say, that over sort of throughout history, we have faced a lot of discrimination, and that has stemmed from various different things, such as things like what people today would term as hurty words, so slurs, basically, and other things like, it always concerns me that it always starts with slurs, it always starts with verbal abuse that we start having thrown towards us. Um, we then move on to physical abuse. So whilst it might start as verbal abuse, it always moves on to the physical. I say always, not always, most of the time, I would say, in my experience, because I think when people who are being abusive don't get the rise or reaction they want, or even they get a reaction that shows them out to be an idiot, then they feel like their own pride has been hurt. So they then think, right, well, I'm not having that. You've made a laughing stock of me, so I'm gonna beat you up and stuff like that. Um, I mean, there's a lot of slurs out there, and obviously you used one of them to highlight how people from our community were seen in history. They were seen as deviants. Another phrase that gets bandied around is perverts. People from the LGBT community have often been referred to as being perverts just because of how they are, who they are. You know, they're being gay is part of your genetic makeup. It's not something that you are. It's not something you learn to be. It's not something you can be encouraged to be. I think it's who you are. It's what you are. Much like to someone who's heterosexual, being heterosexual is how they are made to be.
Exactly, and I just think that, as we've discussed before as well with slurs and things, some things are slurs to some people, but it's not a slur to other people.
Mm.
So that's another thing that it's quite highlighted, because when we look back in the day throughout history, a lot of terms used have a totally different meaning now.
Yeah,
That's another thing we can look at
well, it's
throughout
like
the past.
it's like the term queer. A lot of people see that, or a lot of people use it that want to be homophobic. They use that as a slur. But as a community, and I see a lot of people talk about this, and they say we've reclaimed that term because it's something we're proud of. But it wasn't always seen as something that was nice. It was seen as something that was meant to put people down. To imply that you're different and you're wrong for being different, you're disgusting and stuff like that. And you just have to look at various aspects throughout history. I mean, you mentioned Alan Turing. He was the code breaker that broke the Enigma code. He created the Enigma machine. It was his actions that and his genius that helped England to be victors in World War II. And look at how they repaid him. Look at how he was treated. He reported a burglary. It became clear that he was, cohabiting with another man and that they had a relationship. And he was persecuted. He was criminalized. He was convicted of indecent acts, all because he slept with another man. And he was chemically castrated. That was his punishment. Someone who undoubtedly saved thousands of lives, or prevented thousands of needless deaths, in a war that could have continued for years beyond. That's how he was treated, and they didn't look at that. They didn't think, no, And I think we're probably the only community that have ever been legislated against. I mean, you look
Right,
at
so
Section
it
20.
did take 60 years after he died for them to actually give him a pardon,
Mm,
which I still think's quite offensive. Like, you're pardoned for being gay.
yeah,
It should have just been
yeah, I see what you
wiped.
mean.
Should have been
Yeah,
it should have been an apology, to be honest, and a wipe away of it.
mm.
But
But
60 years it took. But yeah,
yeah, but you look at how we were legislated against. It was illegal to be gay. It was illegal for gay people to get married. We had Section 28 that was brought in through Margaret Thatcher and her government that prevented the teaching or anything to do with education around LGBTQ plus people. And there was that famous thing that she said at one of the Tory party conferences, which goes down in history as absolutely disgusting. That children are being taught they have an inalienable right to be gay. Well, they do. If they're gay, they have every right to be, and so they should be. But we look at history and we look at how things have gone, and there has been a lot of progress that has been made. But I think the progress being made is only down to people that have been quite prominent in the community and outspoken that have helped to make that change.
Well,
Would that
yeah,
be fair to say?
it's the people in the past who put the ladders down behind
Mm,
them for all of us to climb up. But I think as we're climbing up our next stage, we need to also be placing down these ladders for the people
mm,
before us to come up,
yeah.
because the world is a scary place at the minute, and a lot of rights are slipping backwards, and we're constantly under attack in the media. As you've said, they're constantly saying that we're like perverts and keep bringing up children and all these drag queens and
Mm,
predators and all these kind of things. So we are on this tight, like a little tightrope, where we're swaying left and right and trying not to fall off, because that's just the sharks are underneath waiting. That's how it seems to be at the moment. So I think that's why we have to stick together and keep
mm.
keep
And
pushing forward and fighting for rights, because it is an endless battle, as we keep saying. It's
yeah.
not gonna. It's just the way it is.
And I really like that analogy that you made where the people that have gone before us have put down these ladders for us to climb up to make things easier for us to move forward, to climb that. And you're absolutely 100% right that just because we've got where we are, things are slipping back, rights are slipping back, and we are finding that we are becoming the targets again of abuse. And not just on, and I think some of that is down to social media, and we should be putting those ladders back behind ourselves for our future generations to make sure that their lives continue to improve, and they don't suffer and face the problems that we face. I mean, we know people that have lived through those times, that where they faced struggles and faced difficulties, and they've spoken to us about it. They've talked to us about their experiences were like, and how things are different now for the better, but there is still a lot of work to do. I mean, you just look at excuse me, there, clearing my throat. You just look at when the HIV epidemic started. A lot of that was generally focused around the gay community, and it got branded as being the gay virus, the gay disease. And yes, a lot of people within the gay community lost their lives. But when we look at that, it's and when you look at statistics today, HIV cases are more prominent. In fact, there's more HIV cases in heterosexual people, men and women, today.
I think that's because in our community, we're a lot more sex positive. We're a lot more open about
Mm,
our sex lives and things, and we are more likely to get regularly tested, make preventative things like taking PrEP, things like that. And I think there's still a lot of ignorance around it. So a lot of people, if you mention HIV virus to them, they're instantly going to think, oh, gay people. It's just ingrained in them, especially the
mm,
older generation. Which I don't, to be fair, I don't blame them completely, because the propaganda that was being thrown out throughout my entire childhood as well, and yours, just
and
all
this
the
is a
lies and things. But I just think we are a lot more likely to visit clinics and get regularly checked up and be more
mm,
careful, because of what happened in the past. Because we've always had this fear put in us, we're a
mm,
lot more careful. We're a lot more proactive in making sure that we're safe and healthy and on that side.
Yeah.
But I think straight people do still presume that it's just gay people. We can't get that, so they don't really get checked. They're not as careful as much. Things like
And
that.
that's the thing. I mean, I think it was a complete myth that HIV cases didn't happen um, amongst the heterosexual community during those times, because it did. There were cases that people did contract HIV, and I think they had this belief, didn't they? I mean, you kind of touched on it there a bit, that it was a gay virus and it only affected gay people. And as a result, you know, they wouldn't get themselves tested. And we're actually recording this at the moment, and it's actually HIV testing week. So it's very important that, as you say, Josh, that we do consider, we're more open about our sex lives, and we are more open about how we look after ourselves and look after our sexual health, and it is important to get tested. And as I say, we're recording this during National HIV Testing Week, and if you haven't been tested recently, go and get tested.
Well, it's a lot easier
Um,
nowadays, isn't it? Because it's just literally a prick
exactly.
of the finger. And
Yeah.
plus, I believe recently, I think I read it the other day. There's now basically kind of like a vaccine. They've actually made it's kind of like a vaccine. So I think it's every 6 months you have this shot.
Isn't that the
It's
injectable PrEP?
basically yeah, it's basically prep, but it's a like a
Hmm.
vaccine, an injection every six
Yeah.
months, and that lowers your chances to basically zero. That's how
Yeah.
far we've come now.
Yeah.
And I think
And
this
and,
is
and
this is they need to really push this out into like sex education and things because that is how you eradicate HIV because they wanted to eradicate it by was it like 2030?
yeah.
And I
Well, I
think
think
things
they
like that
wanted
will do that.
they wanted to bring cases down to zero, didn't they, by 2030? And it's very important because obviously we are talking about HIV epidemic, and because it is part of our history, because it was so out there, and it's always associated with the gay community, and rightly or wrongly, it shouldn't really be something that carries any kind of stigma with the gay community or the LGBT community. And as you say, it's worth sort of highlighting the fact that there are medications out there. There's PrEP, which is pre-exposure prophylaxis, which people can get if they want to practice safe sex. And it is important that people do understand that that is the case, that they can take that and they can take a regular pill, and it protects them. And I think the vaccine that you were talking about, I think it's a form of PrEP, but it's an injectable version
I think
of
it is
PrEP,
it
which
is
lasts longer.
also it's also worth mentioning that it's not a silver bullet. It doesn't stop you getting all the other STIs and
Yeah,
STDs. It's specifically to reduce the chances of you catching HIV.
HIV,
So it's not
absolutely.
so so that it's still not a replacement for adequate protection to stop you getting
Mm.
other
And something
viruses.
else, yeah, and something else I think is really important to highlight as well, especially for those that may be listening that have HIV, because it is important that people understand it's not got the stigma attached to it that it used to. It's not seen as, and pardon the expression, but it's not seen as a death sentence like it used to be. There people who have HIV can be medicated for it, and often are medicated for it, and that can reduce their viral load to make them or make the virus undetectable. Um, so essentially, it means that undetectable means untransmittable, which means that it cannot be passed on, and that essentially, whilst HIV will live within the body, it cannot be transmitted, it cannot be passed on, and people go on to live healthy, long lives, and rightly so. And it should never be seen as the stigma that it used to be, because I've seen all too often within our community that people see people that have got or they learn that people they know have got HIV, and ignorance takes over, and that ignorance then means that people won't want to go near them. They'll be worried about catching HIV or contracting HIV, and that sort of draws up divisions again. And that's why I think, as you say, education is quite important. Education is key to helping people to understand that, to reduce the ignorance, to eradicate the ignorance, and make sure that people understand, that having HIV is not something that means you've got to then, I can't be friends with you or anything like that.
I'm just watching you be awkwardly silent, waiting for me to say something.
Well, I was
Um,
waiting for you to. I was waiting for
no,
you to say something because I've nattered on for a bit there.
I
You
know.
usually
Sorry,
sort of pipe in.
sorry, I was nodding off. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
very
but like,
nice.
there is still a lot of stigma, especially in our community itself, which is sad. Because we've had friends who've told us they've got HIV, and they've felt really scared to tell us. Um, and that's upsetting because it's just kind of like my reaction is always like, well, thank you for sharing that with me, but I don't see them any differently.
Hmm.
I don't understand why you would treat someone worse just because they happen to be living with something. I don't
I
get
think it's
that stigma.
it's the historic stigma though, isn't it? I think that
Well, yeah, they have
feeds
the
that ignorance.
well, there's the stigma that like the view where, oh, they must have been very promiscuous, they must have not been safe, they must have done something, like victim blaming.
Mm.
Um, but that's not the case. Like even if you were promiscuous, that doesn't mean that you're to blame for that happening. I don't
No,
understand. I don't get that myself. I don't understand. I think that's the last thing people need. If I found out I was HIV positive, the last thing I would want is someone blaming me and making me feel worse,
mm.
because I don't think
Yeah.
that doesn't benefit anybody.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? The sort of victim blaming approach doesn't benefit anybody. And if someone was to disclose that to you, I mean, you know, your reaction was pretty much the same as mine. Th thanks for telling me, but you're still the same person that I know, respect, and admire. Um, I'm not going to see you any differently.
Exactly.
It's and that's how everybody should be. We shouldn't feed into that ignorance. And if we have that ignorance, then learn about it and move forward. Because I think it's that ignorance I think that holds back our community as well. Because like you say, there's the ignorance within the community as well as outside of the community. And I think the ignorance within the community probably does a bit more damage than the ignorance outside of the community. Because as a community, we're there for each other. We support each other, and we try and sort of promote a better future for ourselves. And in learning more about ourselves, educate those outside of our community as well.
And
But
that's why education is so important, especially for the younger people in the community, because you need to make sure they remember what happened and how far we've come. They need to know the history of the community.
exactly,
They need to know the history of the people who literally built the ladders for them to where
mm,
they are today, because without those people, just imagine what the world would be like right now
exactly,
if we didn't
exactly.
have those people that threw the first brick.
I mean, we'd probably still have legislation against us, wouldn't we? I think it'd be fair
It,
to say
yeah,
we'd probably still be being legislated against.
it's scary to think how much, like, because it's not the best now, but just imagine how bad it would be if there was none of those people in the past that
Mm,
that stood up and made the changes. Just
yeah.
imagine where we'd be now.
Now I'm gonna ask you a couple of quick questions that are
Oh, here we go.
they're kind of the same, but because it's LGBTQ plus History Month, I am seeing on social media all the usual ignorance from people who have got absolutely no fucking clue.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. So and I'm going to say it how I imagine them to sound. Why isn't there a straight pride? When's heterosexual month?
Do you want my answer?
Go on.
Because you're boring, bland bastards. Have you seen
But
the straight pride flag? Come on.
I have, I
Who
have.
wants to celebrate
It's
that?
it's black and white stripes, isn't it, with the
Yeah,
male and female
original.
logos. I know
Original.
it's so boring. But why isn't there a straight pride month? Why isn't there a straight pride? Why isn't there a heterosexual month? Well,
To be fair, there has been a
good
straight
reasons.
pride. It had 5 people.
Yeah,
So there
hardly
has
anyone
been
turned up
one.
because they'd be like, they were like, well, what's the point? It's
If you were that bothered,
so
you would have gone. You would have supported
so
it.
so why isn't there a straight pride? Why isn't there a heterosexual month now? This isn't to sort of drive that division even further down between the LGBT community and the heterosexual community, because at the end of the day, we all need to work together for better lives and equality, all round. But why isn't there these things? Right, I'm going to tell you. Firstly, it's never been illegal to be straight. Straight people have never had legislation that has prevented them from being openly straight. They've never had legislation that has prevented them from being able to marry the person that they love. They have never faced heterophobic discrimination. They've never had to fear or worry about walking down the street holding their partner's hand, their wife's hand, their boyfriend's hand, their girlfriend's hand, whatever. They've never had to worry about what country they're going to go on a holiday because being straight could see them imprisoned. Being straight could see them being convicted. Being straight could see them being executed. LGBTQ plus people have had to do all of that. We have had to face legislation. We've had to battle legislation. We've had to go for change. Age of consent for straight people has always been 16, but for gay people, I think it started as 21, then it went down to 18, and finally it's gone down to 16. So when we get asked these things, why isn't there a heterosexual month? Why isn't there a straight pride? Well, literally, they can live their lives every day without fear of discrimination. They don't get beaten up for walking down the street for being straight. They get, gay people do, and they have done. And we see it, we hear it time and time again. And it's that ignorance that they forget. And I think their ignorance in asking those questions is down to the fact that firstly, they haven't got a clue. And secondly, I think it stems from their privilege
It's
because
definitely a
they've never had to have those battles. They've never had to have those fights. They've never had to try and make that positive change just so that they can live their lives free of persecution or discrimination. And that's why there isn't a straight pride. That's why there isn't a heterosexual month. But you know what? If they want to start one, by all means, start one. I mean, someone that I interacted with on social media the other day said that it says something along the lines of um, straight people are being pushed out of society. Straight people are being pushed away from this. They're not allowed to go to these things. Okay, what are straight people not allowed to go to? And they referred to a museum that is hosting an exhibition for LGBTQ plus History Month. And I pointed out to this idiot, and I'm going to call him an idiot because he is an idiot, that actually you can go, and I would encourage you to go because you might actually learn something.
He probably
And you
doesn't want
might,
to go. That's the thing. They don't even want to go to these
he's,
things. They're just
you know what he's,
moaning because they can.
what he's pretty worried about. He's pretty worried about that he's going to sort of,
He might turn gay if he goes into a gay museum.
well, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, again, it goes back to the discrimination aspect, and people were worried that if they went into a gay bar, if they went to they went somewhere where there were gay people, that if they went anywhere near them, they'd catch gay.
Ugh, life is too short. How do they survive? Honestly, it must be so stressful. You can't do anything now in case you're gay.
Mm,
It's just
exactly.
it must be no wonder they're always miserable. They must be exhausted because everything makes you gay.
Mm,
Everything needs to be you need to get offended by when apparently we're the ones who get offended by everything.
mm,
We like I don't understand it. They're saying like, oh, we're being pushed out of society. Do you realize what percentage of the population of countries are gay or LGBT plus in general? If you put all the LGBT plus people together, it's probably like less than 2% or something.
mm.
And how is that pushing you out?
It's not.
Like
It's not at all.
every single movie, every single advert, TV show, cartoon, everything I've ever seen growing up was always straight people. And
Yeah.
if they dare to have two men in an advert now, they go off. They flip. They say it's a disgrace, and I'm like, but what about the heterosexual couples that are in the same advert? Are you angry at them as well? Or the white people? You're fine with them, but if it shows one black person in the background of the same advert, that's it. You're livid, and I'm like,
Mm,
you need to just relax, take a breather, stop getting stressed because it's stupid. Doesn't do anything to get angry over people just
mm,
being gay or being a different color to you or whatever.
exactly. And it must be so difficult for them to live their lives worrying about the fact that there's representation on TV. I mean, they say, oh, it's the token gay person or the token black person that they're putting into the show just for diversity. Well, no, it's representative of reality. It's representative of real life. We all
No,
exist.
the thing is, they live in a little bubble. A lot of these people, they're privileged white. Most usually they're middle class or lower class, and they're the ones who go out with their mates around the pub in the evening, and they live in their little white circle. They
Mm,
don't see the real world. They don't see anything different to their life. But the real world is a complete spectrum of different people and different ethnicities and different colors,
mm,
and that's what makes the world such an amazing place because no one's the same. Everyone's different,
mm.
and they
It's
just seem
like
to want this white supremacist mirror image of themselves everywhere.
I think with diversity is strength, because if we can show that we all have our differences, we are all different in some way, shape, or form. We are a diverse culture, um, but we can all bring things from our diversity to each other that can make us all better together. It's like the saying, the phrase from Star Trek: "Infinite diversity in infinite combinations." And I think that's true. You know,
But
we do have that, and I think with that diversity comes our strengths.
Well, yeah, if you just look around, even in the room you're in now, if you look around the room you're in now, all these different things came from different people, different countries, different
Mm,
like sexes, different genders, and like all these different things. There's all like everything is made by the world coming together and the differences and the diversity of everybody.
mm,
So if you didn't have diversity and it was just people like yourself, just imagine how boring the world would be. Like seriously,
exactly.
there would half of the things around you now, or more than that, would be gone.
Absolutely. We're back with Guess the Phobias. This week, Josh is doing O and I am doing P. So, Joshua, what's your first phobia that you're going to have me trying to guess?
My first one is ometophobia.
Ometophobia, fear of anything owned by Mark Zuckerberg?
No,
Not that kind of meta.
you should know by now. None of them make sense. I keep saying
Ab-
that.
uh, ometophobia. Absolutely no idea. Go on.
It's the fear of eyes.
What?
Yep,
Fear of eyes?
yeah. So never look in a mirror.
Oh God. Imagine having that.
No.
Okay. Okay. Here's my first one. Pogonophobia.
A what?
Pogonophobia.
Fear of pagans.
No, pogonophobia. Pogono phobia. Pogonophobia.
Fear of pogo sticks. I don't know.
No. You'd hate this. You'd hate
Oh
this.
God, here we go.
Fear of beards.
Oh,
I suppose it makes
that's
sense, really, if you think. Well, the name doesn't make sense, but having
why
a
is
fear
it
of
not
beards.
called beardophobia? Why don't they just call things what they are?
I've absolutely no idea why that is called pogonophobia. Anyway, your next one.
My next one is ochophobia.
What? Ochophobia.
Ochophobia. Ochophobia.
Ochophobia.
Hmm.
Ochophobia. Is that OCH?
Yes.
Is it fear of Scottish people? Och,
No. Racist.
that's not racist. They go och, don't they? Och, no.
Do they just
They
walk
do.
around going, och?
No, no, no. For the benefit of our listeners, that's not racist. I'm not being racist. It's a known Scottish phrase, isn't it? It's a known Scottish saying. No.
It's
Anyway.
not that known because I didn't know.
Anyway, no, go on.
It's the fear of vehicles.
What?
Yeah,
Wasn't it called vehicleophobia or carophobia or
exactly.
transportophobia?
What about the vehicle? Is it the wheels or is it just the fact that it is a vehicle? Or what is it?
Yeah. Right, my next one. I've got a few to pick from. Here we go. Phobophobia.
The fear of phobias.
Yes, it is.
Finally, one that makes
Finally,
sense.
one that makes sense. It's there. We've got it, and you got one. Go on.
Oh God, here we go. You're gonna think this is something else, just so you know.
Go on.
Omphalophobia.
Omphalophobia.
Hmm.
Is it a fear of phalluses or something like that?
No.
Is that what you think I was going to go for?
Yeah.
Omphalophobia.
Yeah.
Um, fear of penises.
No, it's near it.
Fear of vaginas.
No, you've gone way out of the way now.
Fear of testicles.
No, I said it was
Fe-
near it, not directly on it
Fear of
or
belly
under it.
buttons.
Yes.
Fear of belly buttons. Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Right. Okay. Oh, I can't pronounce that one. I'll go for this one. It's easier. Pediophobia.
A fear of pedophiles.
No.
A fear that all
No.
children have.
No.
Uh,
I can't believe you just said that.
a fear of encyclopedias.
No. I've got a feeling you would have this kind of fear.
Well, you better tell me what it is now before saying that.
It's fear of dolls.
Oh, creepy
Because
dolls.
you don't
Well,
like creepy dolls, do you? You don't like creepy dolls.
yeah.
The idea of
Thanks to
being in a
Annabelle.
yeah. Oh, you know what? Oh, briefly on that subject, when I was younger, I used to stay at my cousin's, and I stayed in their spare room, and all
Did
around the wall of the spare room were those creepy dolls on shelves, all just staring towards the bed.
that's serial killer energy. They're
I
in
had
jail
night,
now.
I I had nightmares for weeks for that one. Oh dear. One more.
Go on then. I'm only doing this one because I like how it sounds.
Go on then.
Onomatophobia.
Onomatophobia. Fear
Yep.
of being on a mat.
No.
Fear of carpets.
No.
Fear of tea towels. I don't know. Go on.
A tea towel.
I'm going along the lines of Matt. So I'm thinking of things that you put down to cover
It's
things.
the fear of
Fear of
hearing.
details.
I'm not going to tell you in a minute.
Go
It's a
on.
fear of hearing certain words.
Really?
Yeah, onomatophobia. I quite like
Mm.
saying that actually.
Right. Now this one does begin with a P, but the P I'm guessing is silent. So it's pteromahanophobia.
What?
Pteromahanophobia. Don't ask me to say it
Pteroma?
again. Pteromehano phobia.
I'll just say spelling it did absolutely no use to
I just
me.
wanted to prove. I just wanted to prove it began with a P.
I literally have no idea.
It's a good job you don't have this fear.
What is it to do with animals again? Scared of
No,
certain animals?
no, it's a fear of flying.
Ah.
If you think
I'm not.
about it,
I'm not really a fan of flying, but I'm not
you don't
terrified of
have.
it.
Mm.
I just pop diazepam and fine.
But it does. But it does make sense if you think about it because the way it's spelt, PT. Because if you think pterodactyl, they're flying dinosaurs, aren't they?
Nigel,
Terror.
I've got, as I said, I have a headache. I cannot think this in depth.
It's now time for Josh to be his usual moany old bitchy self. It's the complaints closet. It's your favourite bit, Josh.
Thanks.
You're very welcome.
Thanks.
You like this bit, don't you? You like that intro secretly.
No,
I
I'm
think you
not a fan of
secretly.
your intro, but I like the segment.
Fine, fine, fine. Right, so it is the complaints closet, and Josh, you are going to start us off with your complaint, which is something you've hinted that you've already posted about this week. So, what is your complaint?
My complaint is fitted sheets.
Fitted sheets. Why?
Yes, because they are
Why?
the bane of my life. What do you mean,
Why?
why? Everybody knows why.
Go on.
Because, first of all, whenever you wash them, they're impossible to fold. Don't tell me
Hmm.
there's videos telling me how. I've looked at them and I still can't understand it. It's like brain surgery. And
Hmm.
then when you try and put them on the bed, you never get it the right way round. And you can never tell which way round that it needs to be because it all just shoots into itself and turns into a ball. And then you try and get it on the mattress, and then one corner pops off and it all flies off everywhere. Or you finally get it on, and then when you get in the bed, because you've sat on it, it pulls the corner off, and then that pings off. Honestly, I hate they drive me mad. But I have to use fitted sheets because all the other sheets just move and come off. So now I have to get like these extra deep fitted sheets just to make sure they stay on. But still, the issue is you never know which way around they go. You can never get them on because they keep pinging off the mattress once you go to the other side of the bed. So you have to keep walking round to the other side. And it's even more difficult because I have two dogs and a cat, so they keep climbing under it. And then they get stuck in the corner. And it's a stressful experience every single time. They need to make a device or some sort of tag on the sheet that says this is the way round it needs to be. At least then I'm off to a good start.
It
Because I always
reminds me
put
of it.
I put a corner on, and then you go to do the other corner, and it's like 20 times too big. So then you realise that's the wrong way. It's got to be lengthways, and it happens the other way around as well.
It reminds me of a time when I was younger, when I went round to my friend's house, and his little brother climbed into the duvet cover. Now,
Mm.
bearing in mind, it was a single bed duvet cover, and his little brother climbed into it, and he started getting really upset because he couldn't find his way out.
That's how
He
I
lit-
feel with fitted sheets.
he literally climbed into it, and he started getting all upset because he couldn't find his way out. He didn't know which way he'd gone in. Oh, that sounds cruel,
That's
but it
how I
was it was
feel.
it was quite funny.
And I always have one of the animals jump on the bed and go under it, and then you've got dogs running around under the sheet, and every time you try and straighten the sheet, they start biting you from underneath. So it's just a stressful experience.
I
And
do
they need to
experience
put
that.
tags on telling me which way round it goes.
I do experience that with Molly when I'm trying to make the bed, change the bed, and all that, and she
Yeah.
keeps jumping up on it and like, no, get out, get out.
And
Out you go,
I don't even
downstairs.
bother. I don't even bother trying to fold them. I just screw it into a ball and chuck it in the cupboard because I
Well, at the
haven't
end of
got
the
time to be
day,
folding it.
but that's the thing. At the end of the day, once it's all washed and everything, and then when you go to put it on your bed,
In
you're just gonna
fact,
be laying on it anyway, aren't you?
I know I said I posted about it the other day. Someone commented saying, and they're a pain to iron. And I instantly thought, in what world is someone ironing a fitted sheet? Just put it on the bed. It's under a duvet anyway. You're not going to see it. Why are you ironing sheets? Spend that time having a cup of tea or something instead.
Have a cuppa. Have a cuppa.
Have a cuppa. Stop ironing your bed
cuppa.
sheets. Makes no sense. You're just going to lie on them anyway.
Take a chill. Have a nice cuppa. A cup of tea. Sit down. Enjoy. Chill.
So I'm
relax.
also complaining about people who iron their bed sheets as well. I'm going to chuck that in there because it's linked.
Just chuck it in at the end there.
Yeah. What's your complaint?
My complaint. Well, it's one of those fads that's gone around recently. I say recently, probably in the last 2 or 3 months. And I keep hearing it over and over again, and it really annoys me. 6-7.
Oh,
6-7.
I'm too old. I'm too old to understand this.
6-7. Right. 6-7. It's that thing of where they just go like 6-7. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it's a fad that has just gone around. It literally does not mean anything. I've looked it
That's
up.
kids for you, though.
I've tried to find out what it means. It means
Who started
absolutely.
it?
I don't know. It means
We need to
absolutely
research.
sweet FA. Even Anton Deck did it on.
Maybe it's a
I'm a
secret
Celebrity.
code. Maybe it does mean something, but we're just so old we don't know. Because my brother said it, and he started laughing, and I was like, "What are you laughing at?" If he sees the word number 6-7 in a shop or door number, he laughs and starts pointing, and I'm just sitting there like, what is happening? I'm
Which
sure
brother
we
is
did
this?
stupid stuff. Well, obviously the youngest one, Nigel,
Just checking.
like 12.
But it doesn't mean a thing. I've literally Googled it. I've looked it up. I've done my research around it. It has absolutely no meaning, and no one really knows what the origins are of it either. And
It
it's
must
just
mean something.
I think the closest thing I can find to it is probably the saying so. You know, it's sort of middle groundish sort of thing. It's
To
like,
be fair, if you think about back in the day when we were younger, and even further back when you were younger, just imagine all the like stupid words we'd
cheeky
say, or
bitch.
those stupid things we used to do, like fads, like those rubber bands you used to have as a kid. Did you ever have those?
Bands.
Yeah, they were like
Rubber
bracelets.
bands.
They were like little silicone bracelet things that you wore. They were called shag bands.
I had silly putty.
So you were like,
kid.
well, you'd be at secondary school, you're like 12, and then all these people have these bands on, and they just started getting called shag bands for some reason. And apparently, if you broke one of the bands, whoever saw you break it, they have to shag. Bearing in mind we're all like 12, we're all virgins. None of us have any idea what sex even is. Probably half of us. But yeah, that went round. So that's a stupid fad. I don't know where that started either, but 6-7 probably means some sort of secret code. I bet it's to do with some sort of game, or a YouTuber started it.
I just don't know.
Just blame YouTubers.
But I hear people saying it in various different locations. You know, the gym, work, places like that. It's like, shut up, stop it. We're adults. Grow up. We don't need this. We don't need that.
I think it's just a random word. It's like back in the day when they used to shout bogies. Just doesn't mean anything. It's just a stupid word to make people laugh. But maybe it's like that.
Yeah, but that was one of those games, wasn't it? On a Saturday morning kids show, wasn't it?
But maybe that's a game, but we just don't know. We're just too old. We're too out of touch. We're too old.
If anyone out there uses 6-7, stop. Please stop.
It's probably something on TikTok or
you're
something.
adults.
I'm not on there. I'm too old. I haven't got time for this.
Possibly, but yeah, that's my complaint this week. 6-7.
6-7.
You're just going to start using it, aren't you, during the episode, during future
episodes? I'm gonna randomly
just to wind me up.
I'm gonna keep
just
messaging you.
Just to wind me up. Don't you dare.
6-7.
And that is about all we've got time for this week. We hope that you've enjoyed our slightly extended edition again of the Gaily Digest for LGBTQ plus History Month. We're going to leave you with some final thoughts. Discrimination, it will still happen. We will still face discrimination throughout society. And I think going forward, we are at risk of facing more discrimination with the way things are going. But it doesn't mean we should just let it happen. We should stand up. We should call it out, and we should condemn it. We should condemn it together as a community. We've made a lot of progress. Let's keep that progress going. And we've got Pride season coming up in a couple of months' time, 2 or 3 months' time, and that's another time for us to be strong, stand in solidarity together, and move forward and keep making a better future for our community, so that we can have a nice bit of joined up community relations with everybody else. So I have enjoyed bringing the show to you today. Have you enjoyed it, Josh?
I have indeed. It's very knowledgeable.
You sound like you have.
Nigel, I sound the same as I always do.
But thank you for joining us. We will be back again in a couple of weeks' time with another edition of the Gaily Digest. So until then, stay safe and be happy.